Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel. This is the layout that we made yesterday during Sunday night mixed media backgrounds. So I am happy with it. Like I was talking about yesterday, the stark white, not really feeling it. I'm going to add a little bit of color back there. And these are the photos I'm going to use to scrapbook. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys, so I am doing what I said and taking that white cardstock and adding a little bit of color to it. So I'm going to use my blue and my purple blending brushes, and I'm just going to lightly blend on some color. What that's going to do is get rid of the white, right? Like after I finished the background yesterday, I knew that I did not want the white on there. But things were wet, so you had to wait till they dried. So now I'm going to take two photos. These are both photos of Leavenworth because I'm obviously working through our first Leavenworth trip photos. I did do some of them already, but I do have a stack ready to go. So I am going to get that going. One is of the mountains and then one is of the light post with the sign on it. I am going to cut out one of these purple cameras. I don't end up using it. And I debated on whether or not I was going to call attention to this or not. I do have a bandage on my hand. I got burned at work and there is ointment that is starting to soak through the Band-Aid. I promise it is the ointment. It is not the injury. But I needed to make a decision of whether to leave it open and show the burn or cover it up, and knowing that the ointment was going to wet the bandage, and I decided with the ointment. So you're welcome, or I'm sorry, depending upon which type of person you are. Okay. So I am going to have these two photos separate. One is going to be down here on this larger piece of painted and stamped area, and that's on that bottom left corner. And then the other piece is going to be on the upper right corner, and that's where I have the 4x4 photo. I decided to build out on either side. Now this is something that I do I wouldn't say pretty regularly, but often enough. If I have two photos that are the same orientation, I do this kind of split reverse image thing, right? But this time the photos are not the same size, and I decided to try this anyway. It turns out I really like it, right? And it might be because I feel like the lower left-hand corner has more paint and stamped area than the upper right-hand corner. But that could be my imagination. Not exactly sure how it actually plays out, you guys, but yeah. However it is, I'm happy with the results, is basically what I'm trying to get to. I am going to go ahead and trim down oh shoot, I just lost my thought. I'm going to trim down those bits. I am going to create a little journaling piece. Like I said, I cut that purple camera out. I thought that it would have been a really good match for this layout, color-wise, and it actually is. It really is a good match for the layout. However, it just doesn't make it, right? Like, and that's okay. Because I feel like what I do come up with is better. Now, I do use this Oh My Heart that is layered up on this tag, and instead of that word explore going there, the Oh My Heart is going to stay. I also thought that I was going to bring in lots of these glitter thickers, these purple glitter thickers, and I don't bring a lot of them in either. The good news is, though, the next layout that I make, I do use some of those letters, and the bad news for that is I didn't record it. There have actually been a couple times that I have scrapbooked a complete layout and didn't record any of it for this kit slash finishing up the Leavenworth photos. And I don't know why, but it's happened a lot this past week. It just does. One time, well, okay. I do know why it's happening. I know the reasons why, but I don't know why it keeps happening. Do you know what I mean? So I forgot to hit record. Another time my iPad died because I do record on my iPad. And then another time I hit record, but instead of hitting record and letting go, I must have hit it twice because I had like a 1 second video. And yeah, so it's different things that keep on happening. So at least when I will do a layout share at the end of the month for what I have created with this kit and what I'm going to bring in for May, you'll be able to see some of the layouts and where some of the product got to, right? So that is my plan for that. I will say that I will probably remove these letter stickers from the kit at the end of April because they are not very conducive to changing the feel of the kit. And not that I want to change it purposefully, but those particular stickers are very niche. You know what I mean? So we might do that. I'm probably going to change out the stamps and the dies as well, just to add some variety as I bring in more and more product. Okay, so I'm going to trim the back of this heart because I don't want you to be able to see through the wood veneer of it. And you might be thinking, okay, crazy, it's not that big of a deal. And I know it's not, but realistically, I just don't want to see it, so I'm going to cover it up. And we all know that that's what it boils down to when you're scrapbooking. It all boils down to what you want your pages to look like and how you want them to feel. So I don't want it to be that way, so I'm going to change it up. Now, I did decide to use a blue square up here at the top because I did use the purple down at the bottom. Now, I am going to mess around with this little bit of embellishment for a hot minute, you guys. Like, not even joking. I thought, oh, my heart was going to end up being my title. However, it does not. The title ends up going up at the top. And just, oh, my heart stays there. And it fits in with the journaling, so I am good with that. I am going to use these purple letter stickers, though, but apparently right now is not the time that I'm going to be doing it, but that's okay. I really did struggle with the placement of the embellishments up here at the top. Everything that I was doing, it just didn't feel right. Does that make sense? It just felt like I was forcing it a little bit, and I just really wasn't happy with it. And I just keep messing around with it, which I'm glad I did keep messing around with it. Sometimes it's not worth it to keep messing around with it. Sometimes it's good enough. Sometimes it's done is better than perfect. But for this, it was just, I couldn't figure out the balance, right? Like I couldn't figure out how much I wanted to cover up and with what. Now I knew I wanted a wood veneer up there because I have this wood grain print that's on those that journaling box area right there, right? Like that's a cutout from the 6x8 paper pad. But I knew I wanted wood grain in both areas. I knew I wanted the same colors in both areas. I knew I wanted silver because of the silver paint in the background. Like I knew there were things that I wanted to have here, and that wasn't the struggle. Like knowing what I wanted there was not the struggle. Knowing how to get it onto the page properly so I liked the way it looked, that was the struggle. Ultimately, I figured it out. It didn't take too long to do this page, you guys. Like it still took less than a half an hour to get this layout completed. And well, it actually took 2 days if you're considering drying time, but I'm not going to consider drying time, right? It took like 6 minutes to do the background and like 20 to do the layout itself. So about a half an hour to do the entire layout. And that was fine. Like I was completely fine with taking that amount of time. I don't usually take a whole heck of a lot of time to scrapbook. I can usually whip them out pretty fast. And that's because I do scrapbook every single day, and I basically know what I like, and I basically know how I like to scrapbook. And since I figured that out, it is a rinse and repeat type thing, right? It is okay, I know what I like, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So anyway, that is how I feel about that, I guess. I don't know, in case for some reason it sounded like I was bragging that I scrapbook fast, and that wasn't my intention, and I guess I just wanted to get that out there. I don't know. So there is my purple glitter thicker that I put on the layout that I was just so convinced that there was going to be a lot of letters on there. So that's what that is. Exciting, huh? So, and then I decided I was going to add a little bit of extraness up here on the left hand top side of this one photo. However, that little bit of extraness goes away. I really don't like it, right? Like I really don't like how that looks. I don't like how it kind of imbalances everything on the layout. It just doesn't feel like it belongs there. It feels awkward, right? It just feels wrong, and I don't want it to feel wrong. Nobody wants their layout to feel wrong, right? So that I will eventually peel up and have something a lot better happen here. I figure out my spacing up at the top. I decide I know what the problem is, and I am going to fix it. Now, see, I'm like trying too hard right here. Does that make sense? I'm trying too hard to have everything matchy. And I don't know why. Like, every once in a while, you just get like a bee in your bonnet, and you just want everything to be absolutely, utterly perfect, and it completely balanced, and everything making sense, and everything just tucking into each other nicely, and you just can't get past it for a hot second, right? And that's okay. But I will say my overarching philosophy of better or done is better than perfect is completely true. But there is a little bit of a struggle with sometimes. So I am just going to write 2023 up there on that upper tab. I wrote Leavenworth on the bottom tab, and now I'm going to add in the journaling where I talk about how I think Leavenworth might be our place, because we loved it and we've been back twice, and we're going back again. Like, we just really enjoy it. And then I decided, you know what? I need to put another tag up here. And I am going to overlap that wood veneer heart, and I fill in that space. There isn't an awkward, weird gap, and now I can get rid of this funkiness up here on the left-hand corner of the photo, right? Like there's no need for that weird awkwardness anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to back the back of that tag with the same teal paper so that there is continuity between each kind of decorative bit on the page. That is why I brought that darker glitter ribbon down below, because there wasn't a lot of the dark purple down there. And I felt like I just needed to add a little bit to it. I'm going to grab that crochet thread, which is the best thing in the world to tie little teeny bows in, and dollop glue on top of your tags. Like, I'm not even joking, guys. It's the best stuff in the world to do that with. So I'm going to tie myself a little bow. I'm going to dollop my glue in that tag hole, and then I'm going to accessorize my tag hole with that glue, because you know, a rule of my own choosing is that no naked tag holes, right? No naked tag holes. So I go ahead and do that, and then I decide to do a little dollop of glue on here to place that banner across there, because I felt like it just needed one little extra little bit of fun on there. And then once that is done, the layout is done, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble about all the things today. And let me know what you're working on. Let me know if you're working on a kit right now, or your stash, or are you organizing? What are you working on right now? Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.